Subculture Talk. I am your host, Pat626. I normally host Subculture Shock on Twitch, but I also tend to play a lot of new music on that and on the after party, including the Russian White. And I have two members of them in the virtual studio with me. I've got Tom Reiber and Mike Colón. How's it going, guys?
Good. Hey, what's up, Pat?
It's a crazy, fun-filled evening. So, well, we'll see. I don't know. I mean, we've already got just the coolest beard to ever be seen on this show. So,
yeah, it's fluffy.
Is it soft too? Like, it looks soft.
Yeah, I condition.
Oh,
no, he takes care of it. It looks good.
Yeah.
It feels good.
All right. Things that I never expected to hear on this show. So, first of all, thank you very much for joining me. So normally what I like to do when I have a band on for the first time is I like to go over what I like to call the supervillain origin story. So if each of you could kind of tell me like how you got involved with music, especially this style of music, what drew you to it, and then how the Russian White came to be.
Yeah, so I was really into a band called Inner Party System. And,
Nice.
And I was also like a big fan of like Deftones, and that's kind of like what brought me and Mike together. And
Inner Party System was out of here too.
Yeah, well, yeah, Inner Party System was kind of like a big electronic act, like based around like the Reading area.
Oh, so you see, I'm familiar with them. I used to play them when I was a alternative rock DJ, but I didn't realize that they were actually around Reading.
Yeah, it's where they started.
Okay.
High school. They were high school kids when I met them.
Wow.
But yeah, they kind of like blew up in the area, and like me and Mike were playing in like a couple metal bands at the time, and I was kind of gearing towards like electronic music back then because I didn't want to be in a band with 6 other guys anymore.
He actually started messing with the electronic stuff before he met me.
Yeah, so I think it was like 2010, 2011, and that's also kind of around the time Crosses came out, like Chino from Deftones, like little side project.
Okay.
And that was kind of like very influential, like when we were starting out.
So you said you were playing in metal bands before that.
Yeah.
Like what got you into that sort of thing, and why did you? So I heard that one of the reasons you wanted to get out of that was to not be in a band with 6 other people anymore. So what got you into the band with 6 other people to begin with?
I think it's just like, growing up, like when I first started playing, it was like, I think 98 or 99.
Mm-hmm.
And we were just playing in like, local high school metal bands. And, that kind of progressed over the years, so, things were getting like, heavier and faster and, more experimental.
He's been doing this shit longer than I have, too. Like, way longer. I've only been doing it for, 10 years now?
Yeah.
10, 11 years?
I think I'm going on 20. Like, 20 years playing in music. Like,
I was going to say 99 was more than 20 years ago, so.
Yeah, so.
I played classical piano. I played a lot of school stuff and classical competitions, and the next best thing to do was, of course, go the opposite direction. I started, I don't know, I liked metal, I wanted to play metal, so I knew some people that played it and started playing with them.
All right. And so what about the music that you're making now? What about that called to you? Why was that more appealing than playing metal?
I think it was just like there was just more freedom.
Yeah.
There's more freedom, and I think, well, I mean, there's some people say there's rules, but I mean, I also kind of like the aspect of, like when it's 1 or 2 guys in a project, there's not like a lot of competition to trying to force feed 5 or 6 other opinions into the music.
Okay.
And
for me, it's just more of a release than metal ever was.
yeah, and I think also like we're also big fans of like 80s music, like Depeche Mode, Flock of Seagulls, Tears for Fear.
Duran,
Yeah, so
Echo and the Bunnyman dude.
Oh, you guys are speaking my language.
yeah, so and Madonna. Like I love Madonna.
That's also my that's what I grew up with.
Yeah, so it was just like it's like, how can we take like the coolness of metal and like the emotional kind of aspects of a lot of 80s music and also like bring like our personal elements into it. And I was just like, doing electronic stuff, I feel like you just have more freedom to explore that.
We have summoned a wild Ken Magerman into the chat by mentioning Madonna, apparently. So, also another listener pointing out that it is a very good beard you have there, Tom. So,
oh well, thank you.
We need to get you on Rate My Beard.
I don't know. I just use regular shampoo and conditioner.
That's impressive, because back when I had the big one, I had to do like a bunch of like oil and stuff.
Yeah, I don't do anything too fancy. I just
use a little bit of butter just to keep it soft.
Yeah, the butter's definitely.
But mine's not even close to that. Good lord.
All right, yeah, no, we're. This is definitely the first time that chat has had a lot of questions about beard routines. Yeah. So I'm gonna stick on this for just a little while longer, because this is actually the first time that I've heard this idea of like synth pop with a rougher tinge and darkwave and things like that being considered like freeing, which is what you said, Mike, that this is some of the most freeing music that you've really ever performed. And what makes it that for you? Like what gives you that feeling?
For me, just to you feel a certain way when you want to put out music, but like with metal, with those other bands, it felt like it was forced. They're like, here, you got to do this, you got to sound like this, got to do this, sound like this. It, just felt like doing the same thing that XYZ did. With this, Tom showed me some stuff, and he's like, what do you want to do with it? I was like, oh, I get a choice?
Right?
And from that point on, it was like, I played with my emotions. I played with what I felt. And the music is me. It's not, something someone else said I had to do. So I can put myself into it.
Okay. So, despite being someone who thinks way too much about everything, as often happens on this show, something I realized when talking with Tom on chat before beginning was that there's a question that I've never asked in the interview shows that Tom specifically wanted to talk about. So, what is it with the name The Russian White?
Okay. Yeah, like we get asked all the time about like where our name comes from, like what does it mean? And I feel like a lot of people just automatically go like right to the political route, like, oh, it's got to have some kind of like political ideal behind it. And that's kind of like the opposite. Actually came up with the Russian White, the actual name, probably like 2009. And I was reading a lot about like Siberia and like Russia and just like kind of like that northern like landscape. And yeah, I mean, it popped into my head the one day, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. Like, I might want to use that for like a project at some point. Not ever thinking, that I was ever going to use it. And then, I bought my first drum machine, and I was just like, let's use that. It's kind of cool. So
lends to a certain bleakness.
Yeah, and just like the landscape, and like that's one of the reasons why like we use like the evergreen tree in like our logo. It's just like kind of represents that like snowy landscape.
So I feel like such a fool now. I'll be honest, because like when you say it this way, it makes complete sense, and like Ken even pointing out in chat, hey, ask Napoleon about the Russian white. And for me, of course, the only thing that I could think of was the beverage, which I was sure is like, no, it can't be that. There's a reason that there's that tree there, and I'm just not getting it. And it turns out, oh yeah, there's a reason. I'm just stupid. But
we're fans of the Big Lebowski.
Although a question that I had. When you guys finally sell out and do a Christmas album, does that mean that you're going to put like little decorations on the tree?
Wait, you don't have the album already?
Oh, that was secret release Christmas album.
Oh man, I just spoiled it. It's coming out this year.
Oh, I guess it's not a secret anymore. But now, yeah, we've tweaked with the logo a little bit, but I don't know if we'll ever put Christmas ornaments on it.
Well, I will, and you can't stop me.
Honestly, it's not a bad limited edition.
Hey, send it over to me. We'll use it for the cover.
Now he's got me thinking. You can have some fun.
Put little candy canes on it.
Yeah, or like little tinsel, or like some strings of lights or something. We could have a contest. Let everybody Photoshop your logo.
I'm afraid what they might Photoshop.
Oh, nothing bad has ever come out of a Photoshop contest.
No.
Nothing. So, you mentioned that, especially nowadays, people tend to just kind of jump immediately to the political ramifications of Russia when they think about your name. And I guess that brings up the question of, like, do you guys try to stay out of politics then? Do you consider yourself, like, politically neutral as a band?
I feel like ideally we probably lean more towards the left, but at the same time, like, we don't really have, like, a strong stance on politics per se. We just kind of, like, we want everybody to just kind of like live in peace, and for like governments to stop like meddling, because it's always like the common people, the poor people, the marginalized communities that are always like suffering in situations like this. And it's just, I don't know, it's kind of fucked up.
I would definitely say not politically charged musically, but our political views, as Tom says. Just want people to be treated like people.
Okay, so not musically political, but personally political. Guys, just stop being dicks to everyone.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
There's so much of that, and it's just, and that is like kind of one of the things like I love about music, is that it provides people with an escape. It's a chance to like not have to think about like all the bullshit in the real world. It's a chance to just kind of like space out, listen to music, dance, enjoy yourself.
And that's kind of interesting, because it seems to me like Michael, like, at the same time, while it's an escape, you seem to feel like you're making music that's a lot more personal to you than you've done before.
I mean, for me, I don't know that it's an escape from anything. I don't try to escape it. I use it as, like I said, a release. But I mean, those 30, 40, 50 minutes you're playing, I'm letting go at the same time of the things that occurred when writing.
So
it came from some bad places. And that for now, it's just, that's no longer something that I have to deal with. So, I let it go. That's the escape there. I still can use the old things for, a charge while writing a song, for ideas and everything.
Yeah, it's very like therapeutic.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's like, it's a way to like exercise something. It's a way to like free yourself of those things. and at the same time, like you can provide like an escape, like you're playing a show, for like an audience, you're giving them something new and different to listen to. And, depending on how, you can kind of take it to a couple different levels. Like, you can have it as like an escape where you're just listening, enjoying, and you're not really thinking too much about what the music is. You're just kind of like enjoying the moment. Or if you kind of dig deeper and you get into like a lot of the lyrics, you can tend to feel like not alone. Like, oh, I can relate to this, or, somebody else has felt like the way I do about things.
Okay, so for you as the band, it's very cathartic, and then the audience, they get to choose whether they heavily engage or just get to use this music as a reason to finally let themselves check out for a bit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, choose your own coping mechanism. Brought to you by the Russian White.
Yeah.
It is very cathartic.
That'll be $75 an hour.
Oh man, I owe you money.
Yeah.
So, we kind of digging into we've been dancing around the music. You describe yourself on a website and on Bandcamp as kind of like a fusion of varying styles from darkwave to postpunk, but then with a harder edge. And does that sound? Does that sort of sound that you're able to create? Does it also influence kind of the theming of the lyrics?
A little bit. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like we're trying to find that like happy middle ground of between like the goth worlds, the synthwave world, and the industrial world. Like some of the like early feedback that we got, is like we were too heavy to play with some of the synthwave bands. But then like other bands like were like, oh, you guys aren't heavy enough to play with the industrial bands. Or like our aesthetic wasn't extreme enough to play with some of the goth acts. So like, I don't know. And like I'm always like a big fan of just like, being open-minded and being progressive and not like boxing yourself in by like a thing. So it was like, why not walk, the line in between, like all these different like kind of genres and just do what we want to do. And, hopefully people are accepting to that and, they're open-minded to that, which I think is better now than it was like when I first started. I think people are more open-minded now, but there's still some of those elitists and purists out there.
Why do you think that is? Like, what changed?
I just think people with like kind of like the newer school of bands coming out, I just feel like they want something different. Like they want something more familiar yet different at the same time. Like I hear bands like, Big Time Kill and Panic Lift and Moore's Black, and they all have like very different things going on. But there's enough little bits in there that are familiar, but yet it allows them to kind of like do their own thing.
So it sounds like when you first started out, you got a lot of feedback from other bands that you were playing with or people there to see those bands of like, you're either too much of this or you're too much of that. Was it discouraging at all, or did you guys just say, fuck it, we're going to do what we want?
All right. Let me give my answer first, because it's way shorter.
Okay.
My thing, and Tom was told this day one, I don't give a fuck what anybody says. I don't care what other people say. I don't care what people think about us. I'm doing this because I want to. End of the day, this is what I want to do. I'm going to make what I want to make. We'll argue about it. Sometimes, let's do this and this and this, whatever. But nobody is going to tell me I can't do something. So no, it doesn't bother me one bit. I can go out there in a pink attire and play what I want. It won't bother me if people boo me off stage. So I don't give a shit. Now you can give your answer of how it affects you.
Yeah, we just said fuck it and we just say what we wanted.
Yeah, just fuck it.
Yeah, pretty much. We're just
So I had the longer answer this time?
Yeah. Well, actually, I had the longer answer originally because I was like, oh, Mike's just going to say fuck it. We did whatever we wanted to do.
Yeah,
I do what I want.
So when he gave the long answer, I was like, we just said fuck it.
Yeah.
I do what I want. I look how I want too.
So it's been a while since we've gotten a new album from you guys. 2019 was the most recent one, and then a remix album in 2020. And what was that like to have some pretty fantastic talent come in there and take already great songs and kind of play around with them? Did you find that actually influenced you as to how you want to do the next album? Or were they just doing their own thing and now you're going to do your own thing?
No, it was really cool what everybody did. We didn't really give any kind of rules or parameters to anything.
It was cool to see how many different directions songs went.
I always found like collaborations really inspiring. Because I feel like some of the best ideas come out like when you're bouncing ideas off other people.
But not when there are 6 of you.
Right, because there's just too many ideas bouncing around. But like, one of the things we kind of do is like we have like a new song idea. We might bounce it to like a couple friends and be like, hey, what do you think? What would you do with this? And, get some of their feedback.
I loved that remix album. It was cool. Future Holotapes, I think, was that's my jam. I love that one.
That was a cool one. I mean,
they're
all
great. That one I listen to a little more often.
It's okay to have a favorite child, no matter what parents groups tell you. So that does bring up, rumor has it that a new album is coming out possibly this year.
Maybe.
Okay.
Hopefully.
We were staying.
We're getting there.
Okay.
We're work in progress. It's we get hiccups.
Yeah, I guess
the first hiccup was me moving back to PA.
Yeah, we've all moved around so much and had so many like things to juggle.
Expenses go everywhere.
Yeah, with like the pandemic and jobs and relocating. Yeah, I mean, we were on track to have it out probably in the fall. That might be getting pushed back a little bit.
Okay.
But, I mean, there are like, I think 10 to 15 new songs in the works. And we've been kind of debating on how to release it, if we want to do like, one big full length or do like a couple smaller like EP releases, even though it's going to be all part of the same collection. It's just,
there's pros and cons to both. It's like it's hard to say one
and
the other.
I don't know, and like I know some bands do like the one single a month thing, and that's cool. But I've always been a bigger fan of just like full albums.
Right.
And I know I'm probably in the minority with that, but I don't know. I just feel like full albums kind of tell like a complete story.
I'm not sure you're in the minority as far as like what people want for just to sit down and listen, but rather the way that we listen to things has changed a great deal.
Yeah.
Whether or not we want to listen to it that way. There's so much music out there now that a lot of us aren't discovering it by, hey, here's this band, I'm going to go listen to the album they just released. Like, it's not like back in the 90s where you hear a song on the radio and then you go and you buy that record. Now it's a song shows up on a playlist and it's immediately followed by another song on a playlist, and you can listen for like 3 hours and not hear a repeat. It's a lot harder to go, okay, now I'm going to go and check out just this specific band.
I don't know. I make it a point to do that now because of that. Like I realized I was doing that. It's like, you know what? I'm gonna purposely listen to full albums when I listen to music now. It's like I got away from using playlists.
So,
Yeah.
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, I feel like sometimes though, like, you can do cool things with just releasing a single because you have the opportunity to kind of, catch lightning in a bottle real quick with like an instant like snapshot. So like we've kind of done some like one-off kind of tracks like here and there for different things, but we don't make it a point to like do that all the time. So like we might just put like we did that with the vinyl, right? The vinyl single. Yeah, we did it with Ghost Lake, where we put a song just on like a 7-inch vinyl for like a one-off track, and then we had like a one-off track that we did for like Electronic Saviors. But I mean, generally, like we've been doing like the full album thing.
I like B-side stuff.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think that's an advantage of doing both if you can. I mean, because I feel like these days it's either one or the other, and that's a little strange to me. Because, like you were saying, there's pros and cons to each. Comment in chat that with full albums you can get a full flow going, where all the songs kind of come together to make a new work that would not exist if each song was on its own. But at the same time, you have the option of having that full-length album, but then releasing tracks with B-sides on it, be it remixes or songs that didn't quite fit in the album or things like that. The unfortunate thing about that is it's a lot more work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I still enjoyed it.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm a big fan of B-sides as well. Like I enjoy getting, even if I missed them originally, I enjoy bands that put out B-sides and rarity compilations, because that
different ideas that maybe they had. They're like, why did they not go with this one?
Exactly. Like, oh man, I know what song this became, and I actually kind of like this one better.
Yeah, rarities and B-sides is like that.
Yeah. I remember like one of like our early tracks, in like the first kind of like version of it, it was like written completely different, and then like I changed up like one of the like the main like I think it was like synth bass line or synth riffs in it, and it became like a completely different thing, and then like we just never played the original version.
Never saw the light of day again.
It was like way back
before I heard it.
Yeah,
it had to have been.
Yeah.
Just throwing some old music at me.
Yeah.
Just go back to the old stuff and be like, let's make a new album out of old stuff.
I'm sure we could.
Yeah, we could. I don't know if we want to.
See what's laying on the floor after getting clipped.
Yeah, unfortunately, so many bands have already used the title "Cutting Room Floor" for the album. Otherwise, you'd be ready to roll.
That is a good album, though. I listened to that the other day.
Just talk the other stuff.
To get the other stuff.
We keep it simple.
So the other side of things, you're working on a new album, but also for the first time in 2 years, live shows exist again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Such a weird feeling.
What?
Yeah, I don't know. The whole like 2.5 years, whatever it's been, that we've been pretty inactive with the pandemic. Although like understandable, I mean pretty much every band went through it. But yeah, it was just, in 20 some years, like, that's all I did, like, almost every month for like 20 years, and then like nothing, it was like hard. It was like hard, like not going out and seeing like my friends' bands or, seeing like my friends DJ and, with us not touring and playing shows, it was a bizarre time.
Yeah. Like, our ride was uncomfortable. Like at the start of it, you're like, oh my God, I need to go to a show. I want to be at a show. I need to play a show. Then you get used to not being able to. And then suddenly you can, and you go to a show, you're playing, you're like, I don't know who these strangers are. How sick are they?
Yeah.
Like that whole thing, man. Like it got to you.
It was definitely like
you start double guessing the person sitting next to you. It's like shit. You gotta let go of that. And just I'm going to a show again. I'm gonna have fun. Fuck everything else going on. Let's remember what the shows were. It was a way to enjoy ourselves. It was like it was cool to kind of get back into that, but it was a weird.
Yeah, it's unnerving at the start when everybody started playing shows. It was just like, I guess maybe, yeah.
Now I'm cool.
Yeah, I feel a lot more comfortable now than I did. I mean, I also got COVID twice, and
I was gonna say, COVID cowboy over here,
and got my vaccines and everything, and tried to use all the precautions that I could, and I still ended up with it twice. So.
Well, and that's kind of what's happened to me is that like the one time I was finally like, yeah, all right, I'm gonna go to a show. The Omicron variant hit like the week before the show, and the numbers really spiked up again, and I was just like, fuck. So I haven't had that experience yet of going back and realizing that you can't step in the same river twice, that things aren't going to be the same.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, you get conditioned whether you knew it or not, man.
So has the way that you approach live shows therefore changed since, and I don't mean like going to live shows, I mean performing them, because another rumor I heard was that you have some dates coming up.
Yeah, we do have a few dates coming up here next like 2 weeks. I guess the approach is just like, I feel like in the past we would book like longer tour runs, and like we were more willing to put ourselves out there for longer and get into all sorts of like different situations, where I think like now it's like more of like we're just kind of like testing the waters at the moment, in case things were to get canceled. It's not like a huge thing like dropping off.
Yeah, that was rough having to cancel all shows.
Yeah, because we actually had a tour planned for the remix album, and then like had everything lined up. We had like all the merch and albums pressed and everything, and then it was just like canceled. And then like we really never did much after that with the remix album, and now it just kind of feels weird because it's like it's been out for so long. And at the same time, like our last album, I mean, it's going on 3+ years now, so it's just like our next couple of tour dates are going to be kind of like greatest hits of our current material, and for a few dates, and then get back into finishing up this new one.
Do you feel like it's going to be even better to be on stage because of the 2 years you've had off? Or are you kind of nervous that it's going to be completely different?
Not sure.
I'll be honest, it felt the same being up there. I mean, like the first 10 minutes of the first show was a little unnerving, and it felt different because I'm like, fuck, I haven't had people this close to me in 12 months or whatever. After that, no, it felt the
Why
same.
are you all coming towards the stage? Oh, wait, you're supposed to.
Yeah, I had this one feeling just right up in my shit. I'm just like, all right, I gotta like this is what we used to do.
Yeah, I'd say that, like the first show, like the first 2 songs, it was just like, but then after that, it's kind of like riding a bike. You're like, oh, okay, I remember how to do this, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's more gratifying now. Like, I always appreciated it, but I feel like I appreciate it more.
Because you didn't have it?
Right. You know, it's like one of the things, like, not that I ever took it for granted, but it was like, it was just so, you know, part of like my schedule and, you know, just like day-to-day activities. It's like, you know, you're writing music, releasing music, performing music, you know, booking the next show kind of thing. And then I didn't have that for 2 years, and it was just like, you know, it was like a big, you know, it really fucked with me, like, mentally, not to have that.
Well, yeah, because you've both mentioned how performing the music is kind of a release. It's cathartic, and suddenly you didn't have that catharsis. Did you find other things to put it into? Did you put more of it into writing music, or did you just kind of slowly go mad staring at the walls?
I think kind of both. I mean,
my experience was a little different, I guess.
Yeah.
I had to fix some things with myself, so in that downtime, that's what I did.
Yeah, I think the downtime did you good.
Yeah.
It didn't do me good, but it did you good.
I mean, I genuinely smile now.
Yeah.
Tom's like, I already had my shit together, man. I didn't need this extra time.
Right. I was like,
I had to play catch up, so it gave me the time.
And I'm not going to make light of that, because any sort of personal work that you do on yourself should be congratulated. So I'm glad that you were able to use the time to kind of make those necessary changes.
yeah, no, Mike's come a long way from our early years, to say the least.
Yeah.
But I mean, so have I, though. Like, I mean, that's, you know, like, that's one of the things that, you know, like, I've always tried to, like, instill, like, with, you know, like, other people, like, that I'm friends with that are struggling. It's like, you know, it doesn't have to be that way forever. You know, it's like, it's kind of like, if you choose it to be different, it can be different.
And it's not like an instant thing. It's not a straight line. It's a recursive. Yeah. It's a struggle, and the struggle is real.
It was.
Yeah.
Did any of that make it into the new album?
Yeah. I would say, like, a lot of it. Yeah, I mean, just like the personal struggles and, you know, some of the personal growth. And then, like, you know, I mean, for me personally, like, during, I guess, like, the last 12 months, you know, I've lost 5 people in my family. None of them from COVID, which is crazy. But it's, but like, it's still, you know, it's 5 people.
Yeah.
That are no longer there.
Also, and, 2 cousins to COVID.
Yeah, but
my condolences all the way around, guys. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's just,
that is one thing that we did share was death follows us.
Yeah,
it's
like,
a huge part of both our lives. The number of people we've lost along the way,
and especially like recently, like, I mean, you know, that was like one of the hard things to kind of go through. It's like, you know, it's hard enough losing like one you know, person, and it's like losing 5 people in a calendar month. Like, that's wild.
Easy.
And then, like, I remember being at like work, and everybody's like, "Oh, are you okay? You okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm okay." Like, and they're just like kind of taken back by it, and I'm just like, you get kind of numb to it, and it's. So I feel like the next couple releases probably that'll play like a bigger part in the lyrics. You know, just kind of like exploring like all those different emotions.
Peeling away the numbness, so to speak.
Yeah.
So, is there anything else that we can expect from the Russian White relatively soon?
We got the the 3 shows that come.
Yeah, we got a
DC.
Yeah, we got a couple shows coming up with Comrades.
Oh, excellent! I love Comrades.
Yeah, Zach's my buddy.
Okay.
He's our like
best tour ever.
Yeah. Yeah, our right before the pandemic, we went on the internal Seance tour with Zach and Comrades. and that was a lot of fun.
It was amazing. We lived in a van. Great.
Yeah,
As you should on a tour.
Mike got jealous, so thought I was going to leave him for comrades.
And you just wanted to jump up on stage and use auto-tune.
But yeah, I remember he filmed me and Zach walking along the beach. And then,
It was the perfect bromance. It was beautiful, and then we had to document it.
and then he sent it to my wife. It was like,
Oh no!
yeah. But yeah, we got a Philly date, the 31st, March 31st, with comrades, and well, it's April 1st. We're playing in Baltimore, also with comrades, and then April 2nd, we're playing in DC with comrades.
All comrades all the time.
I could see Zach 3 days in a row.
Yeah.
Does your wife know you're going to see Zach 3 days in a row?
Oh, she knows.
She had to sign off on it and everything.
Yeah.
There's the list of do's and don'ts. He's not allowed to return to him.
So the other thing is, there's not just new stuff on the horizon for the Russian White, but also for your label mates on Lost Glacier Records, right?
Yeah. So Liz, aka the number H.
Yes.
She has a new EP coming out very soon, and then I just saw a draft of her new music video.
Oh, really?
That's going to be coming out in the very near future, and it looks wild.
I was gonna say, do I want this stuff? Am I gonna be begging for it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna be awesome. Like, I think it's just gonna.
I'm guessing.
I don't want to hype it up too much, but like, it's definitely like the next step in the progression.
Okay, so I'm gonna guess that Liz Villa in the chat is actually Liz of the number H, because I just got a big hi, and so big shout out because I love the number H as well. I remember for Bandcamp Day, like a year or so ago, you sent me a link to like a thousand dreadful things. And I could not play that song enough. So, no, I'm excited.
Yeah, no, I think it's gonna be really cool. I think people are gonna dig it. Yeah, I think it's gonna open some doors. And yeah, I mean, I can't say like enough good things about Liz and Sean and all the hours and hard work that they put in on that project.
Because they're awesome.
Because they're awesome. All right.
And that's really the only thing I have like on the near horizon. I mean, I just put out Digital Afterlife's EP. Maybe maybe like almost 2 years ago now. But that's a really cool EP. I know they got new stuff that they've been working on, but I don't know. I don't know if they're going to be releasing it anytime soon. They haven't told me about it. So
we do got a couple other things in the works too, but it's not something we're ready to talk about. But there's a couple of things.
You can't do that to me. You
What?
cannot do that to me. That's rude. That's rude. Oh yeah. Yeah, person who's interviewing us. We do have some things that are happening, but we can't talk about it even though we're on your show to talk.
There's things in talk, so we can't. It's not cemented yet.
Well, there is a little thing I can talk about. So the next release is for us anyway is going to be called Funeral Art.
Yeah.
Yeah, we finally decided on the title. Hopefully we're going to work with Jay Arch again, who did our Stalker video and Augurus video, and kind of come up with like a artistic vision here in the near future for it, and get all the artwork and video ideas laid out.
So why funeral art?
I think it's obvious.
Fair enough. Well, no, so like
the 5 losses and Mike's 2 losses, I mean, that's 7 between the 2 of us. So
I guess more of like why, obviously like a funeral theme, but funeral art puts a specific image in my mind of like.
We had talked about that before. I had asked Tom about it and gave him what it to me felt like. The whole funeral art, it does evoke a very negative idea and image and everything. And then you think art, well, art's not negative. It's not art. You think beauty. For me, it was like, man, we gotta go through more funerals, more everything. Is like how are you gonna get through it? And for me, it was using what we do with our art. At the end of it, just you're still able to make something beautiful out of the absolute worst things you're going through.
Is that what you're trying to do?
Kinda, and the whole art thing kind of direction was like, you're using these things, and at least for me, like art, any kind of art, painting, music, whatever it may be, sculptures, it's always been like an exploratory thing. Like you're exploring different emotions, different feelings, and kind of how that comes out. And it's like, so you're using these things, and then you're exploring all of them in a different kind of way. You're just like, you're trying to process the emotions, you're trying to process, like, you're grieving the sense of loss, and then like, how can you explore that in a healthy way? Has
working on this album been healthy for both of you? Has it helped?
I think so. At least for me personally. About you?
I'm coming at it like in a whole different angle from where I used to. So like it's been like really great for me. Like I have so many ideas and I like throwing them at Tom, and it's definitely been helpful.
Well, now I'm really looking forward to it. I was already looking forward to it, and now I want it in my ears. Now. Yeah, so when we're done with the interview, you're going to go finish it and send it to me tonight, right?
I guess I can stay up for a few hours.
I'll send you just like the live practice version.
Wet my whistle there. Well, I want to thank you both for being on the show. Thank you very much. We managed to talk for almost an hour about that. I'm always amazed by how quickly these conversations go.
It really does. Well, thanks for having us, though. I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So where can people find your work?
RussianWhite.com, Bandcamp. I mean, we're on all the streaming.
Is it Russian White or the Russian White?
No, it's just Russian White. Yeah.
I still put the Russian White.
Yeah.
No wonder you can't get to the website.
Yeah. But I mean, we're all of the streaming platforms, Apple Music, Spotify, etc.
Okay. Excellent. Well, and what about Glacier Records? Or Lost Glacier Records.
Yeah, just lostglacier.com.
Okay.
And then we're also on Bandcamp, and everything's on all the streaming platforms as well.
Fantastic. Well, again, thank you. Is there anything else you would like to say to the world at large?
I don't know. Do you guys want to hear any funny tour stories?
What I want to say is treat people the way you want to be treated. Stop being shitty.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good one.
And that wasn't always my thing until I, became the person that wanted to be dealt nicely with. So now, you know what? Everyone just be nice. Stop
just
being
be cool.
nasty to people.
Stop being a douchebag. Stop bombing other countries.
Oof.
Stop cutting people off in traffic. Let's start there.
Start small. Don't cut someone off, and then don't drop a bomb.
Carry a bag for someone you see struggling.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. We did get a request. One quick, funny tour story.
Which one?
I'm not. You can pick because I have. You want to do the blind driving over New York Bridge?
Yeah, that's a good one.
No, it's not.
Yeah, we played in Brooklyn one time, and we were leaving the show. It was like 2-3 o'clock in the morning, and we're on this like.
Later than it should have been.
What bridge was that?
I don't know.
We were on some like super.
We got lost on a bridge.
We were on some super like
How do
narrow.
you get lost on a bridge? It's a straight line.
Like the bridge wasn't like where we went. I don't think it was supposed to be over this bridge. But we were on a lonely bridge.
It was like this just super narrow like bridge like through Brooklyn. Like,
and it was long. It wasn't short.
Like going like I guess over the Hudson, and Mike covers my eyes while I'm driving on the narrow bridge, and I couldn't see anything.
Sean's like stroking out next to him.
Yeah, poor Sean. I thought was gonna have a heart attack.
Yeah, not my best moment, but it was funny.
But it makes a funny story now that you all lived.
Yeah, and then there was like a ton of good ones with Zach. With Zach from Comrades. So there was like Zach had to be like the DMZ like zone between like me and Mike in the van. So he was like the neutral.
He definitely played lifeguard, or he'd play the buffer or whatever, because we'd get into arguments about different, because when you're on a road that long, you arguing becomes something to do instead of something you're doing because you didn't like it. It's like, let's argue about music.
Yeah, it's like two like little brothers like
wow.
Fighting over the last mozzarella stick.
Knowing it's gonna egg the other one on.
Wait, does that make Zach your tour dad?
I think you guys swapped that.
Yeah, we kind of went on like
I'm a lot to handle, so they had to switch all the days.
Yeah, we kind of like just like rotated like back and forth on.
Okay, but Mike was always tour kid then.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I love being on the road. I love being out and just seeing new faces and people.
And tacos.
Oh my god, tacos! This dude, I love tacos, and he almost makes me hate tacos now.
Every place we stopped was a
what do you want to eat,
place.
tacos? Dude, I'd like to get maybe French fries because hell is different than a taco.
French fried taco.
I'm done. That's a chalupa, by the way.
All right. Well, for those of you that are watching live, stick around because the after party is going to be up next in about 10-15 minutes. Beat Match Mix Show. For those of you watching on YouTube, go watch Russian White stuff on YouTube or listen to their music. You don't have to stay on YouTube. I won't make you. Thank you all very much, and have a great evening.
Have a good night.
See you, Pat. Thanks.